Whenever anyone is going through change, no one else can do it for them. If the universe is saying you have to shed this cocoon now, and you're full of slime all over you, you've gone through immense, gut-wrenching changes, this would be one of the worst kind of transformations that a human could go through when their divine path has led them to completely shed an old world as a part of their path. And that's what we're here for now, all of us, and we're all shedding the old world, which is attached to the 3D in some and many ways. But it's releasing like a 3D cocoon is releasing. So the best we can do is trust and fly up or down in this dimensional world. Because once you learn through the 3D and you do drop out of that cocoon in trust, so whatever you have to go through and shed, and there is an immense change in any way, or an immense rising into something where part of your old cocoon of not only we know as age, but also we know as releasing the 3D, an old way of being. So we rise up, it sheds. We rise up. What do we rise up in? We're rising up in trust, because that's the gut-wrenching part. We're actually disembodying things sometimes we didn't like, but because they were normal, they sat, we became them like caterpillars. We were it. Whatever the energy was telling us to do, whatever, traditionally, whatever systematically. But now, we're getting that light through us for the metamorphosis, for the truth. And you can't really talk about it too much further than that, although I do touch on it often because I am living it. I'm pretty sure I came out of my cocoon and shed the rest, which still felt horrible. I had to walk forward in, say, like 2020 onwards. Not in the same old, what you would think 2020 put everyone through. More, the time had come where finally we were going to evolve. Because, quite honestly, the whole point for having something like that crazy pandemic is we weren't evolving at great rates, and there was more 3D mentality than anything. So, so it was really just more blind trust and faith, which is what everyone's got to use when you are called. And sometimes we just put it down to the mind. Oh, the mind just wants me to do this. The mind wants me to do that, But if it keeps repeating, it's not the mind. It's not the fact that the mind and the eyeballs see this and keep seeing it. It's that spirit and you have a path and you're being shown it repeatedly. And when you have that blind trust and faith and go in that direction, then what slides and sheds off gives you your butterfly wings. But we haven't been listening to those calls because we're very 3D on this planet. And I have thought about so much lately that has come to me to do with all of this. But this is just a video to say, only you are going through your change. Right? You got to let go of it for you, or you got to move forward where the path is leading you so the other stuff can fall. So you don't sit around in your cocoon. You know, because some butterflies don't make it. And if there are any words to describe that last push, it would be, don't think, trust. Because the thinking will keep you holding on to that last remnants of being wet in the cocoon instead of drying process and release it all. I think that's all I'll say for now. Just wanted to make that clear. But actually, no, let's drive that point home a bit more. So, in the cocoon, and what's the point of the metamorphosis? Is to remind humans of change. So if you got that, I wouldn't need to drive it home anymore. You can't push the whole world in front of your change and say, oh, good, all right. Well, for now, they've blocked my change. You can't put all sorts of distractions there. You can, we do. That's the point. But if something's meant for you, it's going to keep calling until you fully go in. So this video is just about trust because, you know, we are given this whole vessel, right, with the power of spirit. But we really don't think a lot of the time what we are using it for in a truly creating manner. We will just blah, blah, blah. We'll just talk anything, whether it's true from our gut. And there are a lot of us that do prefer the truer feelings from our gut being spoken because we got some inclination at some level that that is what we're calling towards us. So if we're true from our gut, we get that nice feeling inside at the heart level that most of the time, if you're offering truth, you're going to be met with someone else's resonance of it. It's this magnetic attraction. But because it doesn't always happen, we tend to think that we're alone or that no one hears our truth, or, you know, when you're giving your truth, you're being who you are, but yet you don't feel a matched level of resonance. Well, that's the dark of being a caterpillar. Okay, that's the dark of it. So you got to shed that. It doesn't matter if they don't understand me. I'm in a world like my Metamorphosis playground that I'm going to meet, one amongst 8 billion people again and again and again and again. Like there's ongoing experiences to be who I am and be surprised or be happy or be, excited when I do meet someone that meets or matches. More inside me comes online when that happens. There is going to be people because we have soul family. So the whole setup, the divine system didn't set us up to come here and just be like cold and lonely and no one gets me and whatnot. That's just like staying in our metamorphosis in the process. That's just like saying, oh, there's no butterfly wings for me to feel free, But there is contentment, and I'll just type in contentment synonyms. There's all of along those lines. Joy, unpredictability, etc., etc. Creation. Pretty much like when you sit down to paint something, you don't exactly know how it's going to end up. Okay, so you keep your eye on who you are. You be in the moment, you create that painting, and what more can you do? You're applying yourself to the canvas. You're applying yourself to life. What more can you do? No one can go through your changes. No one has your unique soul to make unique choices and decisions. Be proud of your creations. You're not here forever. Give your creations to the world. And don't let yourself get down if some people don't agree with you, because that's the whole point, really. We wouldn't shed if everyone agreed with us. We wouldn't have anything to shed. We wouldn't go through changes for our soul's growth if we came here and everyone just loved us and, along those lines, blah, blah, blah. No, it's got to be a little bit tough. You got to make choices. This is the soul. It's not like, this is the soul in the human form. Okay, so if we over evolution, if we wanted this place, and we did, we wanted this place. We wanted, when we went back each time, we would say we wanted, or wouldn't it be good? And then all the different studies of those on the other side assisting us, oh, they got so far with this. Wouldn't this be good? These are the kind of things in the background to do with evolution. So it's never just the humans. So we're actually a design. So the soul here in the human design, you didn't come into like a perfect world, ship shiny, for us all to immediately glow or anything like this. You came in to feel what it feels like to struggle a little bit and then have something shine at you, your interior, and you strengthen, And so there will always be something, because we're watched over by angels and guides, and they're also on the planet. So we can all go through extensive periods in a metamorphosis, feeling caged or in cocoon-like. But light is always there. So it just depends how we might help each other or not help each other. Hold on to more judgment when we see someone suffering, or hold on to our own judgment and not reach out. So we really got to shed a lot of stuff that makes us hold back and think that life is limited. So that's why it's really important to smile at someone if you can, even if it looks like they've got life all sorted out. Inside, they may not have, like, know themselves well, feel like they don't have, relationships going well, or, we're not picture perfect outside. We're not meant to be either. It's nice to take care of ourselves and look however you want to look, okay? But the outside is not the complete picture of the resonance. So it's nice to share light wherever you can, which is why I don't mind, as I grew through this, the outside looking at me, the traditions, expectations of me putting out who they thought I needed to be. And everyone goes through it. This is the human path. When I would feel like no one understood, and we all go through this as well, at different times, unexpectedly. This is the path. So I'm walking along and someone smiles and says, good morning. Someone up the road smiles, like on a walk. And it does something to your light inside. Okay? Human design. Light inside. Our souls. I'm like, oh. And when you feel that little bit of light, it then triggers your soul to communicate with your human that life is not the issues you thought you were having. Life is the light you keep shining. So if we live in a world that's so 3D and people are so like two eyes looking at each other and just judging and turning away, how do you think light is going to come on for the soul? So you can see how we have, admittedly, at times through all of our lives, been either the one suffering or the careless, judgmental one, looking at the suffering, thinking, they haven't got it sorted. No, they haven't got it sorted. It's not easy on this planet. Chuck them a smile, chuck them a dollar, chuck them a hello, whatever. It's not easy. This is the soul's journey. Okay, but we keep lighting ourselves or each other and we make a better world. We are all going through metamorphosis. And even when, I don't even want to talk about going into 5D. Like it's available, we are in it, it's energetic. And this is how we trigger more light of it. At its simplest form of doing that. So if I could give you any advice, you don't have to take it, it's a suggestion, right? Recommendation, whatever you want to call it. It would be in the moments where you feel like you could turn a darkness switch towards somebody. So for some reason, the head or the eyeballs of us and any little subconscious old agreeance pattern, like, oh, how could they do that? Or what are they doing? Or, this judgment where that person you don't realize will feel the energy of. When you think you could go into that, sometimes, we do judge, everyone judges. You got to have some kind of judging concept of the contrast we live in. Oh, I like that feeling. Oh, I don't like that feeling. This is a judgment. So it might be, oh, I don't want to go near that energy. I want to stay near this energy. And that's all fine. But it's when we purposely think that our light is better for some reason, or we're stuck in that kind of rut too. We are better and everything comes to us. Yet we got to ask ourselves, who else have I been nice to today? Make sure I've been nice to someone today. Not because they served me or kissed my ass or whatever. Have I been nice that didn't, it didn't cost me anything to do, but it made someone else feel better? And then let that become like an unconscious pattern, that it just becomes a part of you, that making other people feel better doesn't cost you anything. Okay? Because it will lift you. And that's what evolves the soul. Your own soul. And you don't know how much joy you have brought by the simplest things. And I'm talking about light going on that you may not see, but they're just happy to receive something you said or did, right? In the field, that'll reach many. Okay, just be happy with inside. You don't know how far that joy will go, but it will go. And the opposite does nothing for the energy in the field. If anything, it says, turn your light off. I don't want to see you. How could you do that? Blah, 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 blah. And like, who in the hell are we at all? Don't forget, we are soul lights, and that's that. We are not humans forever, and my form is better than your form, or what I've got in this lifetime is so much better than what you've got in this lifetime. That kind of 3D crap. We're souls, we're lights, it's a light planet, we're being helped by light. We want to get rid of the layering of the cocoons, and this is how we do it. We easily and inexpensively assist anyone and everyone at any time. And so too, we attract that in our field, so everyone can have this lighter framework, because there's still many of us that need a bit of lifting. Not heavy lifting. You're not going in and saying, oh, what's wrong? You know, I can do everything for you, or I'll stay here for a long period of time and my light will go out, but that's okay. Maybe yours will come on a little bit. No, we're not talking about heavy lifting. We're talking about take your light, offer it, and it's up to them if they follow the triggering of their light. Because you will switch something on giving kindness. It's just whether they are triggered on enough, or they keep going and then someone else does it for them. Like, oh, you know, you're having a hard time. Here, you know, I'll sit with you for a bit. Light comes on, light comes on. It's up to them what they do with that in themselves, because they are a soul that needs to get up and live. I was going somewhere else with that as well, but I do have Matthias that comes in close, and if he was here, he could speak as well, because I'm sure he's got a lot to share. But I don't actually want to talk about him and I today, although this video was instigated because of it. In the fact that we have to have some trust to know who we are. Because if we're just these 3D people, like I've just described, without having to go over that aren't helping each other, we don't actually know who we are. Because it's a relationship world. So if you're called to do something, but you're still holding back, you're acting from the place of holding back, which is not who you are. You're still in, like, don't want to let go of the old. Well, if you don't let go of the old, you don't know who you are, because the soul and the caterpillar and the butterfly, the soul needs to know. The soul has come here to live out its life. It needs to know its wings. It needs to know who it is. So his hidden form is exactly the metamorphosis of stages that needs to say, I'm only going to know myself if I trust this is my path. That doesn't take a university degree, and that doesn't take a long-term analyzing. It's, am I willing to trust that what is repeatedly showing up, I can trust it is for me, right? So in this stage, you still don't know who you are until you take that trust, drop out of the cocoon. And so there's flipping and flapping and drying out in the sunshine, right? And unfolding to happen. But it's only after that choice of blind trust and nothing else is holding on to you now, like eventually, like nothing else is holding on to you now. If the butterfly has gotten so far in its stages that it will be going through, then the natural stages are for the rest of the cocoon to like dry up and release it. There can be all different ways of that happening. But along those lines, the slime and the drying, the releasing. So yeah, there's just a few simple elements there that we ourselves fall into accepting. This is leaving, I am becoming, I go and face whatever it is in trust. Whatever it is for all of us. And that's that. And then that's when the butterfly and the antennas are flying up. Because you've done that. Drop, fall into, accept, go do, trust. It's success. That's success of the soul human experience. And so if you do a really big shift of that, you won't have any problems. You won't even recognize in the future when you've actually dropped off and shed something, because you've been through so much in the past that you're just fresh and new. So like that newness has taught you a lot about your past and what was in your cocoon to shed. Like you in spirit know this. So you're a different being walking forward, soul evolution expansion. So it's like things can be without thought easier. So knowing. So a rising clarity. Because you don't have all that old bondage or baggage that you thought you were. Something else just then. Oh yeah, so once that's happened, and for however big that is for any of us, but we all go through big things like this where we are asked to keep going forward in trust and perhaps leave some things, relationship, job, certain things, relationship, expectations, these kind of things that don't serve, but the humans can't see it, but your spiritual path is saying, it doesn't serve your path anymore. Come this way, come this way. Well, you can actually embrace that kind of affirmation regularly, that you release whatever doesn't serve your highest self, which as highest self is essentially getting through your life path in the highest way that you may not know the answers to, but you are releasing what holds you back from knowing the answers to. So I don't know if you've heard the saying, but a lot of us would have come across it, that death and rebirth is happening all the time. And when we don't rebirth, then it does feel like death. So you can liken that to when we don't let go of situations, but something feels like it's dying off. And it's difficult. It's like, oh, these emotions, it's been such a long time, I've held on to them, I know this person so well, etc., etc. Yeah, but you have different soul paths. So it's not like you can go back to heaven and rearrange your sacred path or anything. Like, there is no other way. You have to go through this. So you go through the sacred path. So you go through the feelings, and whatever has to go. But just remember, that's like a metamorphosis. Look for a new form of light. Like what feels like light to me? Or there's an unpredictable person that comes my way and they say something, and there's light in me. And then that light leads me to some other form of light thought, or seeing something, or, you know, it's all leading us somewhere. Making new choices, knowing that something is going, making new choices in light. So we're taking ourselves into the light and the butterfly wing, and something heavy has to drop away. Even if we feel responsibility or want to hold on to it. We have to do, you know, become who we are. And then surely, right, I'll say surely, but I know it happens. I'm saying surely to help anyone get through the process of understanding that once you begin to do this, like one wing is spreading out, but you don't feel like you're flying yet because you're saying, you know, something else is dropping off. Once that other wing does make its way out, following spiritual guidance, which is everyday guidance, as well as receiving in meditation or quiet times, prayer and receiving, the other wing of spirit assists what you left behind, because it's all for the good of us. So, you know, if we just accept that the human design wants us to feel all the different emotions, and growth means we don't stay in all different ways and all different experiences. We don't either stay in the heaviness, or we don't stay in certain experiences. We kind of shake it off bit by bit. And so, yeah, that can feel like a real tearing away from like a caterpillar effect of, no, life was fine and cozy, into, hang on, I'm growing into something. Yeah, your soul. Your soul is pushing off what you came here not to carry or not to continue, and show you the way into what you are to do. And that just finished on the 34th minute, and that sounds good to me. 7 is a good number. So yeah, we got the butterfly card this week, and we've always got my little friend here. Essentially, we are free. That's if you connect into the deep of everything that I was just saying, and follow sometimes that what seems dark process into the light. And you'll always have any form of chat with me that will be instigating that empowerment. So if you ever need any support, look up any of my videos, and it's got something along the lines of our soul opening lives. that it's not made or built to be easy, but we are built for empowerment, like spiritual, soul, light empowerment. Okay, they didn't build this planet so that we all die off in suffering and fighting each other and hating each other, etc. You could call this the Metamorphosis planet, especially at the moment when it feels, you know, the most densest shedding ever. Okay, I think that's it for now. Thanks, everyone.